This is your guide to buying a home in Massachusetts. I'm Annie Oakman, and I'm your local real estate agent, and we are going to talk through the steps to buying a home here in Massachusetts. So first, I'm going to share my screen. This is my home buyer guidebook that I share with all of my clients during our buyer consultation. So this is just one of the pages that goes through the buyer's roadmap. So first step, get pre-approved. I want you to meet with a lender, speak with a lender, and I am happy to recommend a number of different lenders to you as well. I don't necessarily want you to go to your Bank of America, your Chase. You can, of course, speak to those banks as well, but you want to really speak with a local lender who specializes in mortgages, someone who's going to know all of the programs. If you're a first-time home buyer, you want to know what programs are available for you as a first-time home buyer and what grants may be available as well. So you're going to go sit down with a lender or do a Zoom with a lender, chat with them, and get a pre-approval. This pre-approval is going to tell you how much you can purchase a home for. So it's going to give you your budget. This is really your starting point because you want to know what your budget is, but you also want to know what you would be most comfortable with for your monthly payments. So a lender may pre-approve you for, say, $700,000, but you may not be ready to purchase a home for $700,000. You may be more comfortable with monthly payments that are closer to the $500,000 range. So you want to talk to your lender about what the monthly payments will be, what costs can you expect, and what costs can you expect when you purchase the home? How much will your down payment be? How much will your closing costs be? What are the anticipated costs? So you're going to talk through all of those numbers with your lender and get comfortable with your budget. Step number 2 is meet with your agent. So I am happy to be your real estate agent here in Massachusetts or Connecticut. I'm licensed in both states. And what we will do is we will sit down and we're going to have a buyer consultation. And I'm going to go through this buyer's roadmap with you, the buyer guide, and I'm also going to go through a couple of documents that need to be signed with you before we start touring homes. So I'll share that document as well. So 2 documents need to be signed before we tour homes. The first is a disclosure to existing exclusive buyer agreement, and that will go through as well. So this is an additional disclosure. This disclosure here, very short, but it acknowledges that you as the buyer understand that broker fees are not a fixed number. They're not controlled, recommended by the law, government, anybody in particular. Fees and commissions are negotiable. So it's a number that you and I are going to discuss, talk about, get comfortable with, and determine what that rate, what that commission will be. So that is the first document. The second document is an exclusive buyer agency agreement. So this document lays out my services, my responsibilities and duties to you. It locks in my fiduciary duties to you as your real estate agent. And then it also discusses commission. So personally, I do not charge a service fee or an hourly fee. I charge a percentage commission. So it's a percentage of the sales price. So that is something that we will discuss when we meet, and it can be any number, truly. It's a number that you and your real estate agent determine. So that lays out the commission and breaks that down as well. So this is a document that you and your real estate agent will need to review and sign as well. Now, if you are meeting a real estate agent for a first time at a property, they may prefer that you sign a touring agreement rather than this buyer agency agreement that locks you in, because this is also going to determine what the length of your contract can be. Now, this contract can be 1 day, 2 days, a week, 6 months, a year. That contract, you have the ability to negotiate it. So do not lock yourself in with an agent if you are not sure you want to work with that person. So those are a couple of things that you want to be sure of. Now, step number 3, you're going to start your home search. Now, this is going to look like a number of things. For me in particular, I set my clients up on an MLS search. So you'll have access to all of the listings as they hit based on your wants and your needs that we discussed during the buyer consultation. So we'll set you up on an MLS search, and I'm also going to set you up on my private website search as well. And that is a website that I utilize called Mosaic. Now, Mosaic, you can customize everything that you want. You can add natural light in there. You can add hardwood floors in there. You can get very specific. So I set you up on that website as well. We can communicate via that website if you prefer that. So we will discuss those 2 websites. We'll get you set up on a home search. I'm going to be searching for homes for you every day as well. And I will send you things that I think might be a match for you. You send me things that you think are a match, and we start to tour homes. So this is the fun part. We tour homes. I'll walk you through what I think might stand out. If you're a first-time home buyer with an FHA loan, that's a first-time home buyer loan, rules are a little stricter with those loans. It's a government-backed mortgage loan. So we need to look out for things like peeling paint or a loose handrail or missing handrails, whatever it may be. There's a number of things that I can point out to you during that time. I can also discuss with you things that you may need to update, or age of the boiler, the roof, whatever is public information that I may have or knowledge that I have from my experience. I can share all of that with you. So we're going to tour homes. Once you find the right home for you, we are going to be making an offer. So I will be able to research comparables for you, comps or comparables, that's what they're called, in the area. Now, obviously comparables have been very difficult in the last 5 years. Pricing has changed quite a bit. It depends on where you're at, what your location is. Some towns, it is really easy to nail down a number, and other towns, you may have comparables that are all over the place. But I'm gonna give you the best comparables that I can to give you an idea on pricing. Now, I cannot guarantee you, or I cannot give you a price. I cannot say, hey, offer $500,000 on this home. What I can do is tell you to pick a number where you are most comfortable. I'll provide the data, and my best advice is always find a number where you're most comfortable, where if you put in the offer and you win it, you don't feel like you overpaid, but if you lose it, you don't wish that you had gone higher. Legally, I cannot tell you to offer a number. So that's something to discuss as well, but we'll make an offer and I will negotiate that offer for you. I'm going to advise you on that offer. I'm going to tell you how you can strengthen your offer, different ways that you can strengthen it. I will write that offer up and I will submit that offer for you. And then I will work with you on the negotiations. So if a counter offer comes back, if the seller comes back with a counter, then I will advise you of the counter and walk you through the process of what we can do to counter that offer back, accept it, decline it, etc. So negotiations, I will work through that with you as well. And then once we agree to terms with the seller, we're going to sign that offer. When you and the seller sign that offer, it is kind of a rush period, I like to say. The next 24 hours are a little bit hectic because I'm going to be asking you to get a home inspection scheduled and I'm going to need your attorney information. So I can, of course, refer you to attorneys. I can refer you to home inspectors as well. I will send you the list of people that I work with or have experience with as well. So I'll get you that information, but you're going to need to make those decisions quickly. We'll need that home inspection scheduled and an attorney name ASAP. So offer is signed. We get the home inspection scheduled. We are going to go through the house with a professional home inspector. Now, negotiations may arise, things may come up. I'm going to let you know what I think the big ticket items are that you should be paying attention to. I'm going to walk you through the negotiations. The home inspector is going to give you a report. That report could be 100 pages long. Their job is to find absolutely everything to best prepare you to be a homeownership. So their inspection is going to be very long, and they will also typically list out what are the red flag items, the safety items, the things that need to be addressed ASAP, and what are things that can be down the line. So they'll go through that with you. They'll send the report. You and I will go through that as well, and then we will pick what we are going to negotiate on. Now, negotiations could include a number of things. We can ask for a price reduction. We can ask for a seller credit to cover some of your closing costs. So that is when the seller at the closing table will give you money towards your closing costs. And we can also ask for the seller to fix, repair, replace items that are found on the home inspection. So there's a number of things that we can do, and I will talk you through that when we get the list of items that need to be repaired, replaced, etc. So home inspection happens. We agree on the home inspection negotiations. That is when we sign the purchase and sale agreement. The purchase and sale, also known as the P&S, that locks you in with the seller. So that says, yes, we have put an offer in, the seller has accepted it, we've negotiated home inspection items, and we are moving forward on this deal. Now, what happens if you decide you don't want to go through with the sale, right? The home inspection is really step one. Like, that's the first place where you can back out. If we cannot come to terms with the seller, then you can back out and you would get your initial deposit back. When you accept that offer, when you sign that offer with the seller, your first deposit is due. That's typically $1,000. It's called an earnest money deposit, and that's going to go towards your down payment. So that first deposit is due when the offer is accepted. We do the home inspections, we sign the purchase and sale, your second deposit is due. That is typically 3 to 5% of the purchase price. And again, that money goes towards your down payment. So let's say you put 1% down at the first deposit and you put 4% down at the second deposit. That's 5% going towards your down payment. So if you're putting 10% down as a down payment, when we get to the closing table, you only owe 5% of that down payment because you've already deposited deposited the other 5% in your earnest money. So deposit is due when the offer is accepted. Second deposit is due when the purchase and sale is signed. Now, if we cannot come to an agreement on the home inspection, that is when you could get your first deposit back. So that's one way to get a deposit back and back out of the deal, is when we cannot come to an agreement per the home inspection. Once we sign that purchase and sale, that says we're moving forward unless we cannot get financing. So a financing contingency is typically in an offer, and that would be once we go through the process, purchase and sale is signed, your lender is going to have an appraisal done. So that appraiser is going to come to the property, they'll appraise the value. And this is another area. If the appraisal does not come in at value, we can negotiate again. And if we cannot come to an agreement, you can back out and get your deposits back. Now we're in the waiting period. During this time when the appraisal is happening, your lender is doing a deep dive of your finances. They're going to be looking at credit, W-2s, income, debt to income ratio, all of those things, and they are looking to approve you for this loan. If you do not get approval for the loan and you've got a mortgage contingency in your offer, then you can back out and you will get your deposits back. If you get approved for the loan, you're in it. You're buying the house. So during this time period, after the purchase and sale is signed, or the lender has an appraiser come to the property gets appraised, it appraises at value, great, we're moving forward. And then you're going to be going through underwriting with the lender, where they take a deep dive of your finances and where you're at financially, and you're going to get a mortgage commitment. That mortgage commitment typically comes 1 week before closing. So this whole process takes about 30 to 45 days, depending on how quickly your lender can close. Now, during the winter months, it can typically happen faster because there are less properties being sold during this time. During the spring, it could be a little slower because more buyers are out, more properties are moving. So once you get your mortgage commitment, it means we're moving forward. The lender is financing this deal. Everything is go, and we head to the closing table. At the closing table, you are going to need to bring the remainder of your down payment. So that's your down payment amount minus your 2 earnest money deposits. So you're bringing the remainder of your down payment, and you are also bringing closing costs. So the closing costs are your attorney fees, your lender fees, title search fees, etc. There's a number of things that go into your closing costs. And that's a document. Your attorney is going to send you a closing disclosure 3 days before the closing, and you're going to review that closing disclosure and those numbers with your attorney, with your lender, and with myself. So that is the closing process, the home buying process. Typically 30 to 45 days after your offer is accepted, you will be closing on a home. So if you have any questions, if you're thinking about buying a home here in Massachusetts, I am here to help you. I'm happy to talk you through the process and set up a buyer consultation. Let me know what questions you have. All of my info is in the description below.